Cheers and welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. Yes, this is Raging Bitch on Rye, Part 2, Taste Test. It is inspired by a clone that you can make of Flying Dog's Raging Bitch, except for I had it rye last year, and this year I was craving it, so I did it again and modified the recipe. Part of it because I had no choice, because I didn't have all the grains that I wanted, just a little. And then another one because I just wanted to ramp it up even more. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing. Have a little bit of the Mosaic IPA I made. I like it over most of the commercial IPAs. Every now and then I want something a little different, but it's just nice to have a go-to that just hits the spot. Okay, we're gonna go right into the taste testing, but before we jump into the taste testing, I've had a lot of viewers ask, hey, how did you transfer it? What'd you do? How'd you do it? All this stuff. I know I've done this in many previous videos, but I get it. They don't wanna see the past. They wanna see what's going on right now. Fully understand. So I'm just gonna go over the basics. I'm gonna show you a few things, do a few things, and we're not gonna sit and watch water boil, should we say? First, yes, ferment it, not under pressure. What did I do? Well, I took the lid off, lifted it up, took a floating dip tube and I hung it. Didn't let it sit in there. Took some CO2, purged the air out of the tube, lowered it in, sealed it up. Yeah, you can barely hear it because I've been purging. Needless to say, yeah, I flushed it. So CO2 is heavier than oxygen. We're all good. So I'll stop that for now. Then I came over here and I took a clean keg and I added a 1/4 cup. I did purified. You can do distilled, same thing from my understanding, or spring water. Just don't use tap water with any kind of chlorine or chloramine in it. That's not good. Take a 1/4 cup of water, add half to a full teaspoon. I added 3/4 of a teaspoon. I go in the middle. And of gelatin, unflavored, Knox, whatever brand, it don't matter, just unflavored gelatin, and zap it in the microwave for 10 to 15 seconds over and over and stir it. I use the handle part of the spoon to stir just because that's all I need is a stick. Used to use little disposable things, but I don't have any more. Needless to say, until it goes clear and you don't see any undissolved gelatin, I pour it in here. Remember, I'm putting it in here and I'm gonna cold crash it immediately after we get this moved. Then you wanna purge the keg. You wanna make sure it is free of O2. Now there's a couple ways you can move your beer. One, if you have a regular dip tube in here, not a floating dip tube, you can pump the beer right in on the dip tube side, put something like this on the other side to let the CO2 out. Some of your systems, you can let the CO2 come back into here, but since we're transferred under pressure, it's not gonna work. So that's one way. I've decided I'd do it the way I used to do it in the past. It's still gonna CO2, what do they call it? They say CO2 washing. I'm still gonna lose a little hop aroma, but I put the floating dip tube in here already. We're gonna dump the beer in on the liquid, or on the air side. Yes, the air side. And I'm just gonna use that to let the CO2 out and displace the beer so we get beer in and it doesn't sit over here for the rest of its life. So first of all, I put this on here, which is sitting, I think at 10 PSI. Nope, at 5. Yeah, 5. I was hoping it was around 5, actually. It might even be 4. It's all good. Then this, we need to purge this because it's got O2 in here. Well, this is liquid, which goes on either side. Actually, I've gotten this to go on either side on there, and then this one's a little finicky, but I'm gonna put this on the air side, which is what it's rated for. But I'm gonna take one of these. I love these things for cleaning. Let's see. Put it on here. And ready? You can barely hear it, but there was air. We could do it this way too, and you'll hear it. Hear it? Take that off now. Leave the CO2 in there. Grab that before it runs away from us. Turn around. Got our liquid side here. It's on. Got our air side over here, which is where our liquid's gonna go in. It's going kind of fast because there's almost no pressure, and I've got probably a little too much pressure over here. But it's all good. And that's it. Once it's done transferring, and this has gone down to the bottom, left very little to leave behind, I'm gonna take it, put it under 30 PSI, cold crash it. I'll make sure it stays at 30 PSI for about 2 to 3 days. Sometimes it's taken 3. It is what it is. I'm not gonna shake it. I don't wanna shake it, I don't wanna roll it because the floating dip tube's in there and it could get knocked loose. That would be a pain in the butt. And then we're gonna taste test, which will seem like seconds from now. Cheers. Yes, I just overfilled it. Just ever so tiny bit. It is the Raging Bitch on Rye. It's not crystal clear, it's got a little haze. It used Y yeast 3522 Ardan's yeast. I really, really like that yeast for Belgian, especially Belgian IPAs. It's super spicy. That's the key. Our efficiency, brewhouse efficiency was a little higher, mash efficiency even higher, yeah, whatever. We ended up at 1.080. I was shooting for about 7.5%, maybe a little less. Ended up at just at 8%, where final gravity was 1.010. Had to try to remember all that. I have had a little bit of this. It is getting better, actually. And I don't say that as in it was bad, but it's kind of getting cleaned up, and some of the little tiny flavors, including that haze, is kind of reducing more and more. I have a feeling within a few days it'll be crystal clear. Didn't want to wait. Wanted to do some taste testing last night. Oldest was a little under the weather. Thought maybe about running around, getting some people, but nah, we'll just get it done. But there it is. Looks very beautiful for a Belgian IPA. I was going for spicy, which spicy is all about the Raging Bitch from Flying Dog. This is based on Flying Dog's clone. A little, loose because I did the rye, and then I made some more changes, and then I had to turn around and add a little carapils, which the carapils did great. Got nice head retention. I mean, it looks beautiful. Stain, just really, really nice. My first little sip wasn't fully carbonated about 3 days ago. And it was nice, but wasn't quite where I felt it needed to be. Now, yeah, I'm gonna say it's probably another 2 days away from being absolutely perfect. It's got a lot of spice going on. I'm all about spice. And when I say spice, I don't mean jalapeno or habanero. I mean ginger. I think a little horseradish, but very, very faint hint. I'm thinking lemongrass actually has a little bit of a tang to it. Kind of that tangy spice, The rye, between the rye, the yeast, Columbus, and Amarillo, both are known for little bits of citrus, but they're also known for spice. And I want to say it's Columbus. I could have them mixed up, but I'm pretty sure it's Columbus that's known for more spice than anything. And it helps. It complements between the spicy yeast, the rye, and then the hops adding to it. I will say with 5 ounces, I believe it was about 5 ounces. One was cryo, so almost like 6 ounces worth of dry hops. The aroma is very mild. It's not bam, it's not missing, it's there. It's just very mild. I get maybe a little citrus, maybe a little hint of floral. The bitter, I was going for the original, which was around 64 IBUs, if I remember right. I pushed it up around 74, knowing that my hops were just a hair over a year old, so I figured I'd lose about 10% in IBUs, so it's not over bitter. Actually, I would like it maybe a hint more bitter, but not much more. I had a small glass of this with dinner last night. I just like it. I know not everybody's thing is IPAs. I know not everybody's thing is Belgian beers. But if you like that spicy black pepper, or that little tang, coriander sometimes, just that little play on the tongue and that little bit of spice. I know there's some people out there that are like rye. Yeah, I love rye. Rye is my thing. I just like rye a lot. Wheat's very nice if you want to carry a flavor. There's no wheat in here, but there's definitely a pound of rye. I'm kind of wondering what this would taste like if I took the crystal out of it. I think it's crystal 60 and changed it for something maybe like a Munich malt. I'm wondering if a Munich malt would play a little better than the caramel. Caramel sometimes has that little kind of hint of sweetness that I don't always like in there. And a hint of sweetness is kind of balancing some of that spice and the bitter. But this is a very dry beer. It came out at 1.010 and I'm extremely happy with it. I'm not going to say I'm going to slam it down because it's 8%, but the last one was about 8 something. I want to say it was closer to 8.5. I don't even remember anymore, maybe 8.2, 8.4, but we blew through that one. So I can't guarantee I won't blow through this one. Yeah, definitely a success. Lots of spice going on, and I mean lots of spice. Spice everywhere. That's my kind of thing. Cheers. Appreciate you watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing. Yeah, Raging Bitch on Rye. Came out great, tastes great, very spicy. I just like spicy beers. I know, it's just my thing without the jalapeno. So just say, cheers.